We're live. We should be live. You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna pin your YouTube on the comments as well.
Here's CPI.
CPI's out.
CPI is out. Year over year 2.4.
2.4.
Month over month 0.1. So lower than forecast.
Lower than forecast. Market's ribbing. Market is
Up
ribbing.
0.2% SPY. Let's see what happens.
A little bit of a ripper. Nothing crazy yet so far.
Did you post?
Yep, posting now. I posted in almost everywhere. All right, we're live. Oh, what did I just do? Yeah, we're live. We're good. Morning, guys.
All right.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy CPI day.
Happy CPI day. Audio check. Audio check 1 2. How's the mic? Can you guys hear Mike?
Can you guys hear me? Just want to make sure.
Mic echo. Okay.
Echo.
A little bit of echo on Mike's side. Is it it's Mike echoing? I wonder why Mike is echoing.
Maybe because it's coming out of your speakers.
That could be what it is. But if it doesn't come out of my speaker, I don't know how I can hear it. That's the problem.
Well, you'll be able to hear me. I just won't be able to hear you. Unless you wear headphones, maybe.
Let me see. I just want to see. I want to see how bad it actually is. If it actually is bad. Well, first of all, welcome in everybody. We have big CPI data coming out now. It already has come out. We'll talk about it in a second. I just am getting everything set up this morning.
Good morning, everyone. That's weird. I can still hear the echo on my end, even with your headphones in.
It's actually not bad, Mike, at all. It's not even that bad. It's really not bad. I just listened to it. It's totally fine. We'll figure it out for next session, but it's okay. Like it's like
all right, let's just run it.
Yeah, it's really very, very minor. Anyway, guys, so big data coming out this morning. Mike is going to talk about it in a second because he has the numbers in front of him. We're going to go over everything today. We didn't have a pre-market yesterday, so there's a lot to go over today's session. We'll go crackhead speed as usual. But we have Mike with us, by the way. He is on the YouTube. I am going to post Mike's YouTube channel in the comment tab. Give him a follow. He does a lot of stuff. Mike, when do you do your stock Tuesdays? What day do you do it?
Wednesdays, but I haven't been doing it this month. I'm in Europe.
Wednesdays.
I'll start doing it again next week.
Wednesdays. So let me just go pin that message. Awesome. All right, cool. So let's move on, guys. A lot to go over today. We'll talk about everything that's going on. Big data being released. We'll talk about SPY's chart. SPY obviously moving up higher in the pre-market session, breaking a critical level 604. We'll talk about it. We'll go over QQQ. We'll talk about the Qs. 534 level. We'll go over kind of what happened yesterday in the Qs. We're going to go over Nvidia. Nvidia strong, right? A little bit of consolidation yesterday session. Now Nvidia is breaking over 144. This is a big break, and we're going to talk about this break today and what it means for today's session. We're going to go over Tesla. We'll talk about Tesla. Huge reversion on Tesla. Just insane. I mean, it's an absolute V-shaped reversal in Tesla. The Elon Musk and Trump tensions look to be easing up, and that has caused this to just very quickly V-shape. I mean, this has made almost a at this point it's made almost a 24% equity move, and something I haven't traded. I don't know if you trade this, Mike, but it's just a crazy reversal. I feel like I've been trading all these other names, but Tesla, and Tesla has been going crazy. So we'll talk about Tesla today. We'll go over AMD. We'll go over Meta. We'll talk about Amazon. We'll go over the whole lot this morning. We'll try to get through as much as we can. And guys, bear with us today. We have a small echo on Mike's end. It's completely my fault, though. I just have to figure it out. But just deal with it for now. It should be very minor. And really what matters today is not the production quality. It's the content, right? So today's session, obviously June 11. It's Wednesday. It's CPI day. 8:30 a.m. 5 minutes ago, data has been released. Mike, do you have the numbers? I know you mentioned it to me before, but do you have the actual reading?
Yeah, I do. So the core CPI month over month, actual 0.1%, forecast was 0.3. CPI year over year, 2.4 versus 2.5 forecast. So a little bit lower than forecast. And there's also news coming out this morning with the deal between China and the US. I believe the deal was 55% tariffs on China and 10% tariffs on the US.
Okay, interesting. When I didn't even see that news. When did that news come out?
Yeah, that was like 10 minutes ago, before CPI.
10 minutes ago. Okay. So obviously markets reacted to news today. Besides that, in terms of other news we have today's session, nothing crazy. I mean, we have 10:30 a.m. data. I'm curious though. I'm curious for a second. I want to pull up the investing. Let's see if I can get it up on my end over here. But there is the investing.com chart of the actual CPI data. I want to just see if I can pull it up and see how the graph looks now. Now that we have this big release out. What I'll do is I'll pull it in front of us so we can all see it. We can take a look at it. So release this morning, June 11, you're seeing 2.4 was the actual release. The forecast was 2.5. So like Mike was saying, it's better than expected. The general graph now is you can see it's coming down, right? And I think the Fed is going to like this. I mean, I'm obviously I don't want to pretend to be an economist here, but this looks good to me. I mean, you are seeing a general dissension of actual numbers. I mean, last week was 2.3, now we're at 2.4, but it is generally going down. I think that's the positive thing here. Going forward, the next CPI forecast I think is 2.3%. So we'll see what happens because I know now the forecast is 2.5. So the forecast is continuing to go down. So we'll see what happens as we progress. But again, I guess the big thing to know about today's session is the fact that CPI is a good read. Besides that, in terms of earnings reports, there's nothing really on today's session that matters, right? Today's Wednesday. After hours, we have Oracle. That's about it. Okay, so let's talk about SPY chart. We'll spend a few minutes on this. We'll go over what Mike is thinking as well, and then we'll dive into the charts. So on the SPY chart yesterday, I mean, pretty much all that happened was we just saw a little bit of grind higher, right? For several days in a row, it's been just very slow price action. I think, Mike, you can attest to that too. It's just been really, really tough action. Just kind of choppy. Friday was choppy. Monday was choppy. Even yesterday's session, Tuesday, was quite choppy. I took one little trade on SPY and on live. It was barely even a trade, to be honest. It was like what went along here at 601 and stock goes to 601.50 or 601.70, and then that's it. You're done. It's just very, very slow moves yesterday in SPY's chart. Now, granted, what we have moving forward is we have obviously a big squeeze higher following this CPI data. We're now above 604, which is our big level from yesterday's session. 604 was that big level. And I'd argue the level to watch out for now moving forward is going to be 603.50 all the way to 604. That's your big demand below. So big demand below, 603.50 previous day high, 604 hourly level. If you zoom out on the 4-hour chart now, there is big supply in front of us, right? So the big supply now is going to be 608. So today's session, I think that what you should be watching out for is look to see if, one, we can get a pullback long entry at 604 because that's your best possible pullback long spot today, 604, 603.50. Or two, look to see today if we can just pop back into resistance today. Because if we do pop into resistance here, 608, 610, right, then you are at risk of those supply rejections. So today's session is simply going to be about, hey, look for demand back, look for longs back in demand, and don't be in longs anymore back at all-time highs, because you have to understand something. We are sitting right back at all-time highs. 608 to 610 is the previous all-time high. The actual all-time high number is 613. So that's what I would expect today's session. Again, as I'd expect a grind higher back in all-time highs. 608, 610. Don't be long into that zone because you may see some supply rejections. If you're going to be long anywhere, you want to be long back at demand. 604. I don't know, Mike, you have anything to add here? Probably the same stuff, right?
Yeah, 608 and 610 are the big levels, but also if you go to the daily, you can draw the trend line, the previous uptrend, and we're actually getting close to tapping that.
Okay. Which time frame is that?
So that's big. The daily.
The daily uptrend.
It was the previous uptrend, and if we get to 608, 610, we're tapping that previous uptrend.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, interesting. So basically, if you run it from like somewhere down here, right? Let's just assume like somewhere there, right? Obviously, it's not perfect. I'm butchering this uptrend right
lower,
now.
but it's no worries. Yeah, no worries. It's from that previous low, and then you tap that.
Right. I see what you're saying though. It's the previous uptrend we were supporting, and now we're just tapping that previous uptrend. And what's the actual level you have there though? What's the number?
610.
610. So it lines up perfectly with supply. So basically 610 major supply today, 608 big supply as well, and 613 previous all-time highs. So let's see what happens today. I mean, here's the thing about CPI days is CPI days can be very crazy, right? The first 30 minutes following CPI is going to be very crazy. I would say this: if your best possible short entry today is either going to be if this happens back at supply, same area Mike was talking about, 610, 608, right? If you can see a supply rejection there, that's your top watch for shorts. Or you're looking for this. Because if you fail back below previous day highs, I don't think we're going to see any bids today, right? That's a very important thing to talk about. So if we do see, like I know right now we're bullish. Market's clearly bullish. Market's gapping higher. But if you do see us reverse this uptrend, right, up versus little pop higher and fail back below 6035, this is going to be the best possible short entry, right? So I would say today's session really it should be focused around this level here, right? 603, 603, 603.50, 604. If you fail it, crazy reversion lower. If you hold it, then that's your long entry. So like again, I'm kind of going over everything that can happen today. It's both bearish and bullish. Today's session really is just watch and wait because it is CPI day. You have to understand that. But today, watch and see. I guess 610 supply, 603.50 demand below. On the ES chart, the levels are almost the same thing. So on your ES chart, you have your big demand here at 650, 6050. If you can fail below 6050, that's where your short comes in. You can look for a move back down to 6000 ES. Likewise, the supply above us is very much so there. So if you zoom out on the ES chart, you're going to see that supply comes in around, the first level is around 6170, right? 6170. And then above it is 6215, which is again that previous all-time high. So you were getting close to all-time highs now, and it's kind of scary to see how close we are to all-time highs. We are now at this point we're just basically 2% away from all-time highs. So today's session,
look at that NQ 22,000 level as well.
NQ.
That's that previous high from yesterday. It's also that massive level, and the market's up 0.3% pre-market. It's not aggressively bullish. If we start giving up those previous levels, then we can really flush. So I don't want to rush to either side. I want to see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, if we fail below 22,000 NQ, that's not good, right? That should be.
That's a short for me.
That's a short. Yeah, I agree. That's an absolute short. So basically, at this point, NQ chart 22,000, right? That's your big demand. We're kind of like we're beginning to fade a lot of the CPI reaction too. Let's see what happens. I mean, 22,000 obviously big demand today. If there's any long spot, that's your long. But if there's any short spot, then you're looking for shorts on to read that demand, right? So today's session is really just about this. Hey, do we hold 20,000 NQ? If we do, it's your long spot. If you fail, it's your short spot, right? So again, it's kind of like it's very bilateral today, right? We can go in either direction. But I agree with you, Mike. Where's your next level below 22K? Back into previous day low,
It
21,750.
was at 532. Yeah, 532 on QQQ.
532 on the Qs. So QQQ chart, 532 on Qs. Yep. So that basically that high of Monday session, the supply from Tuesday, and then that pre-market low now this morning. And your demand on Qs is probably going to be 535 then, right? That would be your equivalent of 22,000 in
For
Qs.
today, 535 is in Q 22,000. So yeah,
Okay.
if you're looking to short the Qs, then you look for a flush of 535.
Makes sense. So basically today's session, watching shorts below 535. That would be your top watch for shorts. If that happens, look for shorts back to 530. I actually like that a lot. That's a really nice chart. Especially to be honest, Qs look clean. Right? You have the clear levels here, 1 hour time frame clear levels, 4 hour time frame clear levels. But I think the real clean level this morning is NQ, right? I definitely agree with that NQ chart. You can see how clear that NQ 22,000 level is, right? Below 22,000 on NQ, that's where things begin to really flip, right? You can see 21,750. And we're not saying we're bearish this morning, like we're not bearish, but that's what would flip us, right? If we do see us below 22,000 NQ, that is where things become slippery, right? So below 22,000 NQ, that's the level to watch out for today's session. So basically, in recap, right, just to recap everything that Mike and I were saying, SPY demand 604. As long as we're above 604, we're holding bullish. Simple as that. If you lose 604, we lose previous day highs, we're gonna fail, and we're gonna fail aggressively back to 601 and probably even 598. I don't really expect many bids today's session if you lose yesterday's lows. That's where a lot of things begin to pivot. Supply becomes 608, 610. Those are your two big supply zones. It's just a big supply back here, right? Just a massive red zone on my chart. On the ES chart, ES is simply just 6050, right? 6050. Below 6050, we go back to 6,000 ES level, which is again big demand. If we grind higher today, the big supply starts at 6170 here in the ES's chart. And NQ, Mike was mentioning 22,000, right? That's your big level in NQ. If we're above NQ 21 or 22,000, we're bullish. If we're below, we're bearish. We move back down to 21,750, right? Those are really, I think you're saying 21,880, because that would be your 532 level here on, this would be your equivalent, I think, of that QQQ 532, right? Am I correct by this? 21,875?
Yeah, that looks right.
Looks right. Okay, so 21,875 or 879 is 532 Qs, and then this is QQQ 535. Right? Those are your two big levels to watch out for today on the QQQ chart. So that's what we have today in SPY, Qs, NQ, ES. Nothing crazy, right? Just reaction to CPI data. Let's see what happens as the market opens today, right? If we're above it, we're bullish. If we're below, bearish, we have our levels. Let's go over our charts. Mike, I'll let you start with your first one. What's your first watch today?
I think a very obvious one is Apple.
Apple.
There's two levels that if it breaks 206, it rips. If it loses 200, it's dead.
Yeah. 206 big level. 206 big level. That was that level we had. I think we both had on our watch for a while. 206 reclaims. Where's your next level above 206? Like 208?
208.
208. And then that would also be a break of trend, right? So I have a really nice trend. I don't know if you have this trend too. You probably do, but this trend is really clear from that 4 hour time frame. You can see here just a beautiful downtrend that we've been stuck in for a while.
Yeah.
If you can begin to crack over 206, and the thing is, like, this chart has been like compressed for so long. So eventually it's going to make a big move. And if it does actually clear 206, that's where things become crazy. So 206 reclaim, that would be really nice. Break and hold about 206 for longs back into 750. And you're also watching 200, right? So that would be just a break and retest under 200. Where's your next level under 200?
Under 200, I had 197.
197, and then probably like 193.30, 193 and change. Looks like a good chart, right? Let's see what happens today. I like that a lot. That could be actually a nice setup.
Just depends what side it breaks.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, I think today's session, like going into CPI days like this, you have to be willing to trade both sides. You can't just come in today's session and say I want to go long on everything, right? Because again, what happens when market fails? What are you going to do if SPY fails below 60350? What are you going to do, right? So I agree with that. Like having a bilateral setup like Apple, I think is a smart move today. What about Nvidia? Do you have anything on Nvidia?
Well, I mean, I think the 145 level is pretty obvious. It's just Monday's high, but I don't know. Again, it depends what happens with the market.
145. So I agree. So for me this morning now, kind of like a recap of yesterday, right? So the past few days, consolidation, upside, grab lower, right? I think you and I long this on Monday. We got a little nice long on Monday session on Nvidia. We caught longs over here. It's my dog barking in the back. 144 long, 144 long entry, moved to 145 and change. Now today's session, yesterday's session, it just kind of stayed choppy all day. Now going into our Wednesday session, I think it's going to be about that previous day, that Monday's highs, right? So Monday's highs is 145 and change. We have 144 demand below. I think this is a bit of a dangerous chart because it's been chopping around for a while. Today's session, if I want to go long in this chart, it's got to be above 145. I 100% agree, right? So if you're looking for longs today on Nvidia, look for a long hold over 145. If it does, we can start to push back into 149 and then 153, 153.50. That would be where we target. And I think this really could be a good watch today, right? Let's keep this in the watch. And for me, if I were to go short on Nvidia, it's got to be the only short opportunity comes under 142, right? So again, another bilateral setup is going to be 142, right? Breakdown. If you break under 142, shorts. And if you lose that 142, look for a move back to 136. But if you clear 145 today with conviction, look for a hold move play back into 150 plus. That's what I'd watch today's session. I know it's kind of crazy to be giving these like extreme high, extreme lows, but that's what I'd be watching for today's session. Mike, what about Tesla? I'll let you do Tesla.
Tesla already bounced off of that level. 276 was the big level I had on the daily. So honestly, I'm not really watching anything on Tesla.
Nothing on Tesla?
No.
My dog is okay. My dog is okay, guys. I know you guys in the chat people are like, my dog. I don't know what she was doing. Tesla. I agree with you, man. Like the thing is, Tesla like 272, 273 was the big level. It pushed into it. We just about bid it up all the way off that level. Now today's session, we're back at that supply 334. We just moved from demand low to supply high. And if you focus on all the big levels that actually have importance, these are the big levels. These are the only levels that for me have importance. It's 334, 295, 272. We moved from demand. We broke down demand all the way from demand back to another demand, 272. We ripped higher off demand. Now we're back to that previous demand turn supply. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I think that the move on Tesla is mostly done, right? It just kind of reverted back to that when Musk and Trump were going at it full force. This is that breakdown that occurred, right? Now we're back right before that breakdown occurred. So for me, I think this chart, if you longed it previously, you longed it at demand, you should be happy. And this is where you should be saying, you know what, get out, right? You know what, maybe take some profit. Now, I'm not saying it's going to stop here and go back to lows. I have no idea what happens here. But I am saying you are reverting back. You basically reverted back the whole downside move. This is where things can become a little choppy. Obviously, if you hold 334, you should move back into 350. That could be a potential trade today. But I don't know what's going to happen. We're back in the same channel, right? So if you understood that this was your channel before, right? Your channel before was simply between 332 and 350. You're now back at that same channel. Demand low 332, supply high 350. That's all you have now. So I would say respect the channel now. And if you were long previously, I would be out of the trade now going forward. Just my opinion. I know people who trade Tesla are probably mad that I'm saying that, but again, that's just my view here in Tesla. Now, granted, not saying it can't go anywhere, but I am saying it's back in the same channel it was before. Okay. So let's do. Why did we go to Tesla? We should have done AMD. AMD. So AMD 122. AMD is for me is all about 122.
122 is huge.
It's huge, right? I actually love this chart today. 122, big level, previous highs, Monday's highs. It was that breakout level from Tuesday's session. It's also, Mike, you see this too, right? You see this like beautiful flag highs from previous, like 122 and change.
Yeah, it was a huge daily pivot also a few months ago.
From a few months ago. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
But you have to look at the daily. But yeah.
It absolutely is. Yeah, 122.5, 122, absolute mammoth of a level today. So that's what I'm watching today too. Is going to be that 122 like demand pullback. If I can see a strong pullback to 122 and a hold there, that's my long spot today, right? You can see that long spot is simply just like where we held on Tuesday session. It's also where we held on Monday session, that previous day high on Monday session. So good watch today. You're watching this as well today?
Yeah.
Nice. Good. Okay. SMH above 260. So for me, SMH 260 is a really big level. I don't know, Mike. I don't know if you watch SMH very often, but SMH is that chip sector ETF. It's kind of doing the same thing AMD is doing. Remember that high that from AMD 122? That high AMD 122 is like the same thing as SMH 260, right? So 260 on the SMH is huge, and we're starting to crack above it, right? And this for me is a very big technical break for semis. Today's session, you could be long on semis if we're above 260. So if we're above 260 in semis on the SMH, you're good on semi longs, right? Look for longs on semis. If you lose 260, I think that's where you can say, you know what, let's GTFO, right? Let's get out of our semi positions because we're probably going to fail back lower in 250s. So 260 on semis, that's your big pivot today. Obviously, right now, your sentiment should be mostly bullish. That's why Nvidia, AMD, right? These charts are setting up for a leg higher this morning, right? As long as SMH is above 260, leg higher on semis, and we can keep that as a main watch today's session is to watch for semi longs as long as we're above 260. All right. Avgo briefly, nothing on Avgo is going on here. It's just kind of in a shit mode. TSM in grinding. Have you watched TSM in a while? I have not watched this.
No, I really haven't. I am watching Meta this morning though.
Meta
has been a very strong name, and it reclaimed 700 yesterday. So 705 is the level I have. If we can break above that and the market is strong, looks good to me.
705. Let me just adjust my levels. So you're watching 705. Yeah, looks good. So 705 clearance. Where's your next level? Sorry, I missed your next level. 705 clears. Where does it go to? Where's your next level?
710.
710. 710. And then back into 716.
It's from a while ago. If you try to find that supply, it's
on the daily. Yeah, it's all over the daily.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to see this. Like it's because it's just an insane consolidation on Meta, right? Just been consolidating heavily under 705. So that could be a good play today. Yeah, that could be a good play today. Hopefully we get good action today following CPI. Like I hope it's not going to be a chop fest. Usually we get movement though, so I think we'll see movement. Are you watching any short plays on Meta or just the 705?
Yeah, I mean, if market fails, and a lot of these names you can take short.
Right, like 695 is your demand here.
Yeah, just a flip back under 694, but
694. Yeah, 694.
Yeah.
694. Yeah. But obviously right now it's mostly bullish, right? It's just a strong stock consolidating bullish, right? As long as this is above 694, to me it looks bullish as well. 705 clear upside looks good. Amazon crazy, right? I mean, just insane chart. You have to hold. Like this is a chart you just have to you have to have longer positions in, right? You can't just go in the 5-minute chart and just scalp it and then get out the next 10 minutes, right? This is a chart you have to probably hold for a few hours. And yesterday was a prime example of that, right? If you long back at 215 yesterday, I mean, just look at the chop fest that you had to engage in, right? And again, Amazon is notorious for these grabs, right? Just look at the grab, look at the absolute grab yesterday, right? This is your grab yesterday, the excitement short move, and then obviously rips after that. So Amazon, a bit of a chop fest yesterday, but it is a strong chart. Going forward here in Amazon, we are so close to that 220 level now. 220 is a very macro level. 220 from a while ago. I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in December 2024, we were talking about this for a while, that macro demand, and we played it a bunch of times back in 2024. Today's session, I know we're a little far from it, but 220 is right there. If we clear 220, this is going to be a macro breakout. And I know Amazon is not notorious for its macro breakouts, but this is a very big breakout level. This is the most important level in Amazon. If we clear 220, I think we go back in all-time highs, right? And I'm not saying in one day or 2 days. I'm saying over a course of several weeks, we should see that movement back into all-time highs. This is a very dense level, a very big level, right? Lots of reactions here at 220. Watch and see if we can get a break and hold above it. That's one of my top watches for the next few weeks is going to be 220 in Amazon. Okay, Mike, do you watch PLTR ever?
No.
No, I knew he was gonna say. We'll go over PLTR though. PLTR. What are you guys? I mean, you guys know if you're a PLTR, you know what it is. Again and again and again, it's simply the same thing. Now, yesterday's session, you did see some 130 hold. Now today, I actually think it's going to be not just about 125. It's going to be about something else here. It's going to be about these highs over here, right? These highs over here, 135. That's your big level. 135 resistance on what's it called? Oh, Fancy, thank you, Fancy. You're crazy, and I want to say your name properly. I'm gonna mess it up. Kyvan. I don't know how to say it properly. But I think I'm saying it properly. But thank you guys. You guys were awesome. I'm glad that you guys were able to catch SPY yesterday. Cool. So 134.50 resistance on PLTR. That's your big level. I think today's session, what you should not be doing though is I don't really like 130 today, right? For me, 130 was support yesterday. That was the level we maintained. Today's session, if you want to long this the best possible way, I think is going to be a break and hold above 134, 134.50. If you get this trade today, that's your top watch in PLTR, right? PLTR, very strong stock. It's just been doing this. It's been forming just like higher lows, right? It just keeps forming higher lows now. 125 is the big level. I know it, right? I always say 125, but today's session, I think it's going to be about 134.50, right? If we can clear that level, that's where upside comes in. So again, look for 134.5 today. If it clears, upside. Mike, do you have any tickers? Anything else you want to go over?
Pretty much for me, I'm just watching Apple, Meta, SPY, and QQQ. Those are my main watches for today. I like the SPY failure below yesterday's high, or QQQ failure below yesterday's high. Or if we get that 608 area for reject on SPY. That's what I'm watching today.
Would you watch 608 or 610? What's your big level on SPY? Because for me, it's such a big zone.
Well, 608 is 6100, I think, so.
6100. Okay. Yeah.
And watch that.
Yeah. Priceless. DJ Priceless. Thank you, man. Thank you. Much appreciated. Netflix. Mike, you forgot Netflix, man.
Netflix already took profit on.
Right. That was a sick trade.
1180 is the big level, guys. I mean, we went short of like 1240, 1250, but 1180 is huge. It's not going to break down more unless it breaks 1180.
Yeah. But you got out like at the lows pretty much, right? I assume it was like almost lows.
We got out at 1200.
That's still really good. That was a good exit.
Just the big macro level. I don't know if we break it or not.
But that's the thing now is like the chart macro is still kind of bullish, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just it held 1,180. It's not really claiming 1,200. If you're short of the highs, that's good. But now it's just kind of like in that massive uptrend still, right? You can still see it's just
exactly.
It's just structuring higher. So it was a good sell. I think it was a good sell, right? The level, like if you want to look for like real shorts now, it's like the only real short is going to be under 1,180. If that happens, that's a good short. But for now, it's just bullish, right? So good exit on that one. Alongside trades, I think above 1,200, right? If you see us maintain 1,200 today, that could be now. Look, if there's anything I say in Netflix, you should probably just inverse it. Seriously, whatever I say in Netflix, just probably inverse it because I have the god awful trades on Netflix. But today, for me, from just a pure tactical standpoint, 1,200 level. If we're above 1,200 bullish, or below bearish. Google, I don't really, I'm not a huge Google trader either, but 172 in Google, big level. Obviously, you also have a level here forming now as well, 176 as demand here in Google. Today's session, I think, pretty clear. Actually, this is a really clear level. I mean, if I'm trading Google, I'm trading 176. That's it, right? Look for 176 today. If we're above 176 or bullish, that's your level today's session. Google, 176. Moving on.
HIMS actually has some nice levels.
HIMS?
I don't trade HEMS, but I see a lot of people were asking about it.
Beautiful bull flag.
On
Good.
the daily, yeah, essentially 51, 52 is demand, has to hold that. And if it can reclaim 60, then it just breaks that bull flag and rips.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we spoke about this like sometime, I think it was a Monday we spoke about this. I don't know if it was Monday or Friday, but I absolutely agree. The beautiful hourly daily bull flag, 60 is your big level. That could be a really nice watch. Funny stock though. I mean, it is a crazy. It reminds me of PLTR. It's just like it's just the absolute. It
Yeah,
just
I mean, like
moves.
150% on that equity.
Oh, you longed this. I forgot about that. You longed this in equity too. Yeah,
Yeah.
insane,
Yeah, I
insane.
long in the 20s.
20s. Wow. Yeah. Now it's what it's 55. From 20s, it's almost from 20s. It's going to be basically like 150%. Did you sold everything?
No, I still have some. I sold the majority though.
Nice, nice, good play. 60 longs, 60 breaks for longs. VXX, interesting to watch VIX, right? VIX is VIX is getting there, right? I mean, look, this is the danger zone on VIX, right? This demand here. I mean, this when we tap this demand below like 40, 41, right? That historically has been your long spot. That's usually when the market begins to reverse as well. So, I mean, keep an eye. I mean, I usually don't go over VIX, guys, but today, watch VIX, right? Not just today, but watching it as we approach all-time highs. Watch VIX as we approach demand lows here for 42. This is where you can begin to start to create your, maybe start hedging your portfolio. Maybe start selling some of your overpriced, your over leveraged positions, right? When VIX taps 40, you sell your over leveraged positions. That's what I'm beginning to do now on my portfolio, right? Just trimming out of stuff that I think I'm over leveraged on. That's a big pivot today. Not today, but this week on VIX. Guys, I think we can end it here. It's 9:06. We have 1,100 people here this morning. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate you guys. Guys, give Mike a sub on his YouTube. He streams usually on Tuesdays. Right now he's traveling, but he'll be back soon. Follow on
Wednesdays,
YouTube,
yeah.
and I'll see you guys. Mike, always a pleasure, man. See you live.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.